First of all, thank you for coming to the CRISConference, the first ever CRISConference. I'm happy that you guys are here and taking part in this movement. And I just want to start off with a prayer and get this thing going.
The Bible says that he came to them and said, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." As creatives, you are here today in many ways for that same reason. Because God has pursued you and brought you to this point. But also because he wants your art and your creative expression to be for the purpose of pursuing the heart of others for Christ. You desire your art, even in the smallest way, to somehow reflect the heart of God. And as such, you here today are soul winners.
My name is Mako Nagasawa, as Oli mentioned, and I'm a California transplant. Grew up there, lived for 27 years, and have been in Boston for the last 12 or so. So what I'd like to talk to you about and share about is how to, it's an opportunity to create a context, in which you can help people give away a lot of money to help global poverty. So it's the creation of a context. I know this is a little different from visual arts and other creative arts, and I wish I had more to say about those kinds of things. But I thought perhaps it would be helpful to us as a community, a learning community, a Christian community, to talk about something that we can all do, that it's actually possible for all of us to do, because it's not, perhaps it's probably not possible for us to step into another discipline that we're not familiar with. And it's not as likely that we would step with great confidence and competence into a skill that we've never tried. And so I hope that there is something here during this whole day, this whole conference, that you will say, yes, that's for me.
Fast forward to Psalms, 1 Samuel 17, we have David and Goliath. So David, everybody else sees Goliath. Goliath is this huge, big dude. I imagine Goliath is like a Jolly Green Giant, dressed up like a Transformer. So, we got, he's this big dude. You know, everybody else sees Goliath as this big bad dude, but David, because he has a proper context, because he sees God as big as God is, and man as small as man is, he was the only dude in the entire kingdom to step up and say, first of all, he didn't see his size, his stature, his armor, the fact that he had slayed everyone else that came before him. All he saw was an uncircumcised Philistine that was defying the armies of the living God. And that spoke to me. I'm like, man, my God. And then he commenced to lay a smackdown. And I'm like, my God, wait a minute. This dude is on to something, right? So, with that, I kind of applied that to how I looked at music, and I looked at myself as an artist, and I looked at media in general. And what, how it spoke to me was, it's not about who's the best rapper, who's the best dancer, who has the best beats, who has the best art, etc., etc. You know, we see this, we hear garbage on the radio all the time. You know, it's really bad music out there, and it's it's on all the channels. It's spread worldwide, right? But what it spoke to me was, it's not how good you are as an artist necessarily. You have to be skilled. David, he was adamant in the Psalms. He's adamant about being skilled. Play skillfully on the harp and the lute and an instrument of 10 strings, etc., etc. You have to be skilled in what you do. However, what makes the difference, what makes the impact is, I believe, from David's example, your worship ethic and the anointing that comes from that. And the anointing.
Always use famous stars. They have that guy that resembles the company. You know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a company that has a face.
Ooh, I got one. I know Proactive uses Vanessa Hudgens from High School Musical.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there's always, that's a way of, yeah, and the T-Mobile, you got,
Yeah, she thinks you see it.
you got people being used for marketing, for advertising purposes, because they have done something, they represent something, and they could represent what the company represents. They have the look, they have the speech, they have all these things. So that's a way of selling a product. And how would you incorporate that into design? Oh, you could take that in many avenues. If he's a runner who's selling his shoes, you can get the runner wearing the shoes. There's smoke coming out. You can do a whole bunch of things.
Man, honestly, I've never seen something more inspiring being there physically with these people. I mean, these people were the most gracious and grateful people I'd ever met for something as simple as water. I remember the first time that I went to Africa, I thought, I'm going to go find a lot of just hopeless people who are just desperate for help, who need so much, and we're going to go and do whatever we can. We're going to do our best for them. But it was actually the opposite. I remember seeing a lot of people who were filled with hope, filled with faith for a better future. And I remember I was the one who left. I felt like I got helped more than I even helped them. My perspective began to change. And so I came back, and we had this crazy idea. What if we start an organization called Generosity Water, and our mission is to go and build clean water wells in villages that don't have access to clean water. And we didn't have any money. We didn't really have any resources at the time. And it was just a crazy idea. And so I started to get more friends and family and people involved, and other people started doing the same thing, giving up birthdays or Christmas gifts, or one guy had an idea to get a bunch of his friends at college to give up one meal a week and fast for one meal a week and give $10 a week instead of eating lunch towards Generosity Water. And he got 250 people together doing this and raised $30,000 in a few months to go back and build 10 more wells around the world. And so it was just these simple ideas that we were based off of. We didn't get huge government grants, huge foundations, or corporations supporting us. It was just people using their gifts, using their talents, doing what they can. And a verse that really stands out to me in the Bible in Matthew is when Jesus is talking to his disciples and the people, saying, even if you gave something as simple as a cup of clean water to somebody in my name, you are serving me. And, I think there's two things that are important there. Not only is it a cup of clean water, but it's also in Jesus' name. In his name. And so for us,
the names of the relatives of your friends. This is my story. I live it out every day. But how does my story fit into their story? There's something that attracts humanity to the story of a life. We like to sit and listen to the suffering of another person and their courage to rise in the midst of their suffering. We like to listen to the stories of individuals having experienced great injustice and yet able to forgive and to continue to love, in spite of the wounds that they bear. We like to sit and listen to the dedication of individuals, young and old, to the point of even surrendering their lives for the sake of one cause, of whose fruition they may never see alive. And we see the movies again and again. We ask people to tell us the story again and again. But my question is, what is the greatest story? Why choose to be a preacher? And I believe I get the opportunity to tell the greatest story ever told. And so I want to tell you a story. Close your eyes. The darkness by which you see behind your eyelids is what was seen by him whom we call God in English, Elohim in Hebrew, Theos in Greek, Kwame in Ghana. As this Elohim exists in community, in unapproachable light, the darkness that you see behind your eyelids was space and time. He adjusted, as an architect, adjusts his drafting table. His paintbrush is his voice. And he begins to speak. And as he speaks, let there be light. He created color.